In Spider-Man and Daredevil, we find a bunch of reporters at a hospital as they're talking to the Kingpin, as somebody just attempted to assassinate the Kingpin by blowing up his building with a helicopter. They ask if he has any words for the people that assumed him to be dead after the explosion, but Kingpin tells them to get used to disappointment. The reporters ask if the assassination attempt is in any way linked to organized crime, but the Kingpin says he has no links to organized crime as he is a businessman. But elsewhere, in a location unknown, a mysterious man is watching the Kingpin's interview and he's none too pleased that his assassination attempt failed. But elsewhere in the city, as Daredevil swings through the sky, he thinks about when he first became a hero, as it seems like a lifetime ago. Back then, he was a blind fool that made a lot of ridiculous promises. But Daredevil would rendezvous with Spider Man as the two of them proceed with their investigation. As Spider Man and Daredevil swing through the city, they try to figure out who's crazy enough to go after the Kingpin, because obviously the person in question is not scared of Wilson Fisk. Daredevil informs Spider Man that yesterday he had a meeting with Daniel Abbott, who's still in the penitentiary. Abbott tried to relay a message, and Daredevil documented the clues, but he's yet to figure out what Abbott was trying to tell him, as Abbott was really scared of something. As they talk about the assassination attempt on the Kingpin, they find it funny he had the foresight to install 10 feet of plexiglass at the top floor of his building. As Spider Man and Daredevil swing through the city, Spider Man drops some subliminal messages letting Daredevil know he should probably go see the Kingpin in person. Later, as Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock, goes to see the Kingpin will let his men know that his attorney has arrived. Now, Murdock tells the Kingpin he believes he's mistaken, but the Kingpin asks to speak to Murdock in private. As Kingpin's men leave the room, Murdock demands to know what the fuck Kingpin is up to. Murdock tells the Kingpin that the end times will come and hell will freeze over before he even thinks about working for him. But Kingpin tells Murdoch on the contrary, as Kingpin believes that Matt will work for him, as the Kingpin knows that Matt Murdock is the Daredevil. He tells Matt to rest assured that if he doesn't represent him, a lot of innocent people will die. Now, Kingpin would inform Matt Murdock that the people who attacked his building consist of Stiltman, Copperhead, and the Gladiator, but he also tells them of a third overarching member who's calling the shots. He writes three letters on a piece of paper that read Owl. Now, Matt Murdock has a hard time believing it's the Owl, but Kingpin tells him if it is Owlsley, they're both in for an interesting time. Matt goes off to proceed with his investigation, but he tells Wilson Fisk to never think that he's agreeing to appease him. As Matt goes outside, he rendezvous with his assistant, Foggy Nelson, but he also introduces Foggy to someone else that's going to be assisting with the investigation in the form of Natasha Romanoff. Now, as Natasha gets in a taxicab, Foggy is reluctant as he tells Matt what the hell is he supposed to tell her. But Matt gives him a briefcase full of intel and he tells Foggy that everything he needs should be inside. Foggy reluctantly hops in a taxicab with Natasha Romanoff telling him to fill her in. But later that night, as Daredevil goes to rendezvous with Spider Man, Daredevil takes Spider Man to a sewer and Spider Man asks if this is a joke. But Daredevil's not joking as he believes the sewer will lead them right to the base of the owl. As Daredevil and Spider Man walk through the sewer, Daredevil's sensory abilities are being overloaded by everything from the smell of the sewer to the rats running on the pipes. But Daredevil barely realizes just in the nick of time that they're starting to walk through a trap as something starts spraying them with a hellstorm of bullets. Daredevil and Spider Man retreat into cover, with Daredevil wondering why the bullets aren't advancing. He comes to the conclusion that they don't want them out of this spot, but as Daredevil focuses his senses, he smells nitroglycerin. Daredevil tries to grab Spider-Man, but both of the heroes get tossed by the explosion. As Daredevil is on the floor, seemingly incapacitated, Spider-Man is confronted by the Owl, who's backed up by the Gladiator, Stiltman, and Copperhead as Spider-Man prepares for a fight. To be continued.